There's a saying that we use quite often in our industry, and it's not just in the industry, but in general, is you don't know what you don't know.
Is it if Jay calls, don't answer?
That's part of it.
All right, Jamie, I want to talk about the real reason that my AC unit failed early that nobody told me about, because my wife and I are on the market for a new central air unit this summer. We thought we were doing everything properly. What are some telltale signs that it's on the fritz, and what could people potentially be doing wrong at home right now?
We've got a saying in the industry when it comes to air conditioners. There's three things that can go wrong with your air conditioning: airflow, airflow, and airflow. More than anything that's going to affect the operation and longevity of your equipment is how well the air is moving through the system. Most common issue we run across: filters not being changed. It is far more important during your air conditioning season that the furnace filter gets changed than it is during the furnace. We have to maintain a certain amount of air across the coil inside to remove the heat, to treat the refrigerant properly, to allow it to pull the humidity out of the air. If that's restricted, what ends up happening is it doesn't transition from a gas to a liquid back to a gas well, and it ends up causing issues at the outdoor unit.
Now, Jamie, I know this is going to shock you, but I'm not that handy.
Yep.
How do I change the filter on my AC unit, or do I leave that to the pros?
So the filter is something that any homeowner can do. The filter that's on the furnace is the same unit that's used in the air conditioner. In fact, we use the fan on the furnace for moving the air. So it's the same filter. In most cases, it's going to be on a rack to the right or left of the furnace. Slides out, new one slides in. Just make sure the arrow is pointing towards the unit.
What about the advised maintenance stuff? A lot of people say, they're just trying to get money out of me. I'll put it off. I'll put it off. I'll put it off. Does that kind of aid the lifespan of one of these units?
So it's going to. We do two things when we do a maintenance, especially on an air conditioner. One is we do a more thorough cleaning of the coil. You should always take a hose and kind of keep the exterior of the coil clean, but you always get some dirt that gets impacted inside the coils. So when we do a cleaning, we take the top off, we pull the motors out, we clean everything from the inside out. It helps to give you a cleaner coil, which is going to allow it to work better and more efficiently. The other thing we do is we start checking the electrical components. A capacitor starts to get out of whack, the motors, the compressor, they have to work harder, and when something works harder, it's like us, right? If we're going to walk down a straight road, that's nice and easy on us. We start pushing ourselves up a steep hill, we're not going to last as long, right? It's the same thing with the unit. If they have to work harder, they're going to shorten the life.
So if you want a good product, it actually starts with good ownership.
Absolutely. Annual maintenance is, every manufacturer tells you it needs to be done. It's a little harder in the home. People will go, hey, you know what, I had my last unit for 10 years, never had it looked at. That's fair. Problem is how much have you shortened the life of that air conditioner? You're not really going to know until it fails, right? It died in the 14th year. It might have lasted to the 25th. And yeah, you saved, $1,500 in air conditioning maintenances, but you're going to spend an extra $5,000, $6,000 replacing that unit early.
Yeah, if you try to play cheap and save a few bucks, it always comes back to bite you in the end, and you're going to wind up paying.
Absolutely.
So get that peace of mind. Get it looked after, especially now, because this is the time of year you do not want that AC unit to fail.
I've been preaching for about a month and a half now. Turn the AC on. Make sure it's working properly. Make sure it's running well. Bring us in if there's any issues or any concerns with it bringing the temperature down in the home. I can tell you the first night where it's over 20 degrees, that next morning, we will immediately get booked out 3 weeks on service. That happens with every company in the industry. We get uncomfortable at night, we can't sleep well, the air conditioner's not working, and they'll work fine when it's 15 degrees outside. They'll work fine when it's 22 throughout the day. But then as the demand increases, as it has to remove more heat from your home, it's just not going to keep up as well.
So now's the perfect time. It's not that bad, but come the dog days of summer here in southwestern Ontario, when 31 feels like 81,
yep,
you could wind up in a different situation altogether.
Absolutely, and that's where maintenance helps, is we get to come out and actually test the system under a different load. We're able to trigger it to run a little heavier and catch those issues before it's actually needed.
So there you go. Get the quality, get the comfort without compromise. Call the pros at Donaldson Home Services. Right now, a lot of people are building homes.
Yep.
But if you're on the market to buy a home, it's just as important to know if you are getting oversold, because you might be buying a home that has central air, but it's a unit that is on its last legs.
Yep.
Could be good to watch out for if you're a consumer right now. in terms of whether you're buying or whether you're building, how do you know if you're getting oversold on a unit?
So in new construction, it's a little different because that's engineered, right? Everything's got to be stamped and engineered. It goes through the city verifies everything's good. So new construction, generally speaking, things are sized properly. Older homes, that's where it gets a little different. And it really comes down to, like we were speaking earlier, 87% of contractors don't size equipment in any way. The vast majority of people coming out aren't going to make sure that the equipment is sized right for your home, nor take into account what's changed, right? Maybe the unit that's on the home was perfectly fine 20 years ago when they installed it. But since then, you've gotten rid of the old single pane windows and put high efficiency 2-pane windows in. You went and put 24 inches of insulation up in the attic, right? You've torn the old lath and plaster off the walls and re-insulated the exterior walls and put drywall up. The house is not the same house. And having the same size equipment in it isn't going to work the same way that it should. So making sure that somebody comes in, takes a look at the equipment, sizes it properly, is always key when you're looking to replace. Now in the state of where you're just looking to buy, right? You're considering picking up a home and you want to know if this is a good thing. There's two ways that you can really do it. I always recommend a home inspection. And this is getting away from stuff that we do, but a home inspector is going to come in. Home inspection, they aren't really specialized in any one thing, but they have general knowledge on everything. So a lot of them are able to take a look at a furnace, take a look at an air conditioner and say, hey, this is the age of the equipment. Average life of equipment, 14.7 years. That's both furnaces and air conditioners. So if you're looking at buying a house and they're telling you that it's an 18-year-old unit, you need to know that you're going to have to replace it. Could be as early as the day you move in, could be within the next 2 to 3 years, but you want to start budgeting and planning for it.
I think that's a great thing to know, because if anybody's on the market right now getting ready to put in an offer, you have to factor in that come the next couple of years, you've got an expense that, and you've said it yourself, Jamie, isn't really a, ooh, want and need expense.
No, you're not looking forward to spending the money on it.
And you even mentioned before that a lot of changes can be made in a home over the course of 20 years. Conversely, somebody might have put in an addition on the home and still have the same unit in there.
Yep.
So while you walk through in April and, oh, this is nice, it's temperate, come the dog days of summer, it might not be as comfortable for you and for your family as you're accustomed to or you need.
Yep. And we quite often get situations where people are selling the homes and they recognize the system's not working well, but they want us to come in and get it running for today. Right? Not every contractor is going to step in and do something like that, but it happens. It's part of the industry.
Yeah.
Right? You really never know what you're going to get. You need somebody that has a general idea of what the equipment is, the age of the equipment. Like I said, home inspections are great. We also offer that we'll come out during a home visit. So if you have a home inspector but you want a more thorough inspection on the equipment because you're concerned about the age of it, we can quite happily have somebody come out, take a look, and give you true feedback on not just the age, but is the refrigerant right? Is the equipment operating properly? Is motors high amping or pulling too much hydro, which is going to indicate that there is a failure sooner than later. So sometimes spending a little bit of money up front is going to save you a lot of money in the long run. There's a saying that we use quite often in our industry, and it's not just in the industry, but in general, is you don't know what you don't know.
Is it if Jay calls, don't answer?
That's part of it. No, for me, it's you don't know what you don't know. The average person is going to buy a furnace or an air conditioner once, maybe twice in their life, and they don't know the technology behind it. It's a passion of mine. It's what I've done for 25 years. But it's not what the average person understands or knows. So when somebody walks through the door and says, hey, this is the way to do things. When I sit there and say, look, the only proper way to size an air conditioner is through heat loss, heat gain, that's backed by the courts. But if somebody else were to sit here that's been doing this for 20 years and says, oh no, you can size an air conditioner based on square footage of the house. As a homeowner, you're not going to really understand whether that's right or this is wrong. That's why I say when you're going to buy something, slow down. Take the time, talk to 3 or 4 contractors.
That's why it's all about trust, quality, and comfort without compromise. And you're going to get that with Donaldson Home Services.